Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I apologize for that. Yeah, so I think you're referring to taking off Tuesday, but I really had to. I had to get caught up on some stuff. Otherwise, like a video wouldn't happen on Saturday. So got to try to balance everything, like most people in life. But yeah, had to skip the stream Tuesday. I apologize for that. But how's everybody doing? Tan Mazer, hi from India. Hello in India. Are you in whereabouts? Bangalore. But anyways, welcome from the U.S. Takano, what's up, man? How's it going? Daisy, dude, I'm back. Yep, for sure. Hi everyone. We need to talk about the return to 2x Doctor Disrespect. Yeah. Yeah, man, and also like speaking of like streaming stuff, Fortnite too. Like, yeah, you see the crazy stuff with Fortnite and Apple? Wow, how crazy is that? Like, which was super crazy. Well, there's so many things going on right now. It's so crazy in streaming and gaming, especially, yeah, just in general. But yeah, Shroud coming back to Twitch. And then, yeah, the Fortnite thing was super crazy. I don't know. It's kind of, I guess, kind of gaming, kind of tech, but Fortnite basically, yeah, I don't know. I don't play Fortnite, but I follow Epic, you know, and I follow Apple for sure. But yeah, some funny stuff, you know. What did Fortnite do? What did Epic do? They circumvented Apple's App Store and allowed people to purchase V-Bucks outside of the App Store. And then Apple totally banned their app, took down their app from the App Store, and immediately, you know, Epic and Fortnite fired off a blog post of, you know, this video that they had. That's the 1984 parody of the Apple video, where Apple was trying to, you know, take down the man, which was IBM. And so it's so good. It's so good. It's I'm good for Fortnite. I mean, I like Apple as a company, but man, they have a monopoly. And yeah. Anyways. I'm totally blabbing about it, but I just saw the video not too long ago. I've been tracking that story, and it's pretty comical. It's pretty comical. Yeah, for sure. They're mad. Yep. They don't get their 30% or whatever it is. Yeah, which I release apps to the App Store. It's 30%. I mean, I get it. Apple is also suing one company due to their long being a pair and are now getting a lot of backlash from the public. Yeah, for sure. Like Apple's, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think it's at a tipping point though, where people aren't going to put up with it anymore. Like, I totally get it. Like, Apple needs to make some money. Like companies. I'll say this: companies need to make money, right? Or they don't survive, and otherwise it's just a hobby. And Apple has a lot of infrastructure in place, and a lot of, maybe too much, QA and process around their app release, because I'm an app developer too, and it kind of sucks. Like, they just denied one of my apps twice because of stuff, Apple sign-in stuff, like all this stuff, all these foolish policies that they put in place. But anyways, having that infrastructure and that process in place costs money, right? I mean, just think if you were a free app and 1 million people downloaded you and you never charged a dime, well, you know, 1 million people just downloaded 20 gigs of data all from Apple for free. Like, I understand, but there needs to be, I don't know. They're still operating under an App Store model from like 10 years ago, and I think it's time to change. But I think they're trying to change with it too. That's why they're doing the whole sign in with Apple everywhere too, because they're trying to make sure that they get their cut everywhere, whether it's on the web or in the App Store. They see the shift of people, you know, going to the web for most things. Anyways, long story short, yeah, it's crazy stuff going on. 10 Mazer, I was just thinking of using an old Pentium 4 as a remote desktop accessing from a mobile. Any PC is very old. Oh, sorry, I have a terrible headache today too, but that's totally besides the point. Just was thinking of using my old Pentium 4 as a remote desktop accessing from my mobile. Any advice? PC is very old. Yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna remote desktop into a Pentium 4 machine, I mean, what do you plan on doing with it? Are you just browsing the web because you don't want to do it on your phone? Depends on what you're doing on that machine. You know, I mean, I always say, like, use what you have before you go out and buy and build tons of things. Like, prove that what you have doesn't work or doesn't work well enough first before going out and buying tons of stuff. But an old Pentium 4 that you can remote desktop into, as long as you can do what you need to do, you know, why not? Why not? My first home lab machine was a piece of junk PC that was destined for the garbage, and I gave it new life and installed a whole bunch of Active Directory and Microsoft stuff on it. That's how I started learning about servers. But yeah, claiming the leaf point to the right breaks their trademark. Leaf. The leaf mark to the, on the Apple. Epic knew exactly what they were doing. I feel like this was just making use free promotion. Heck yeah, they knew what they were doing. I mean, they had that video, you know, the video already produced, already made. They had the blog post already ready. They knew what they were doing way ahead of time. And Apple probably, they know. I mean, it's happened to other people. So, you know, they were just waiting. They're like, please, 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 you know, take our app off the App Store. Because, you know, a majority of people are playing it on PC and stuff anyways. I mean, they're playing it up like everyone's playing Fortnite on an iPhone or an Apple device. And I mean, a majority, I don't know what the stats are, but a majority are going to be PC players or console players. You know, Apple's not really console or PC, you know, so. But I have a feeling, you know, it probably has something to do with the Mac App Store too. Because they're not just calling out iOS. They also said, you know, they call out Macintosh specifically. So it's probably their, I don't know. You know, Fortnite, that game is what, 40, 50 gigs? I'm just guessing. But, you know, it's like, you know, they are using Apple's bandwidth to distribute 40, 50 gigs of data to hundreds of millions of people. That's got to cost something. 30%? I don't know, but it's got to cost something. But yeah. Anyways, Epic knew exactly what they're doing. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, someone needs to smack Apple down a bit to be a little more customer focused rather than purely profit. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, things have changed a lot with Apple. Well, some things haven't changed. It's like they're doing a lot of stuff they used to do. And, you know, people have given them flack and all kinds of flack for not innovating and then, you know, for a lot of their other policies that they have. But I agree. And they don't have a lot of competition in a lot of places. Like that's half the reason why there's so many non-competes or, you know, lawsuits being filed against them. You can't compete with them, you know? And that's not fun. It's like Google too, you know, Apple, Google, Amazon, those three. I mean, probably throw Microsoft in there too, but you know, I don't know. It's not easy to compete against those four. I don't disagree. Competition is good for just about anyone. Nevertheless, Epic's team aren't dumb. This is a calculated move. 100% agree. 100% agree. I mean, like I said, they produced that whole entire video, had a blog post ready, had their tweet ready. They're probably just waiting to tell their social media team, you know, the App Store team tells their lawyers tell social media team, go, you know, and everybody hits the button at once and, you know, create this free Fortnite hashtag. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. But I think they want to start the conversation. They want to start the conversation and they want a lot of people saying, me too. You know, they want people on their platform, whether you're an indie developer or, you know, whatever, five star or whatever development studio, they want people to say me too. And so this is where I think a lot of digital creators and people who use Apple's App Store to distribute software are going to say me too. And so we'll see. I mean, Epic's a big player, mostly because of Fortnite. And I don't know, maybe they'll be the one to help shift this movement. And maybe Apple will say, yeah, you know what, we might change things, but I doubt it. They never admit their mistakes. They never admit their mistakes, ever. You know, I mean, take this MacBook right here, for instance. I bought a MacBook last year, and last year spring, and then, you know, then they released, you know, after 2-3 years of not releasing a MacBook, probably longer, they release another one within 6 months and basically say, here's the greatest MacBook ever now. But the one 6 months ago, we're not going to acknowledge any of the problems that it had, nor are we going to even explain why we released 2 MacBooks within 1 year, which we've never done. But oh, by the way, it has a new keyboard, it has all of this, but they don't say like why or what it fixed or what it did. But anyways, I'm rambling. Still a little bit bitter about the MacBook situation, but it's okay. Mega chunk. What is that going on? Okay. Web hosting. Oh, web hosting? 10 Mazer? For sure. 100% web hosting. Go for it. Go with the cheapest, crappiest anything or Raspberry Pi. Host a website on there because they're not doing much. Unless you're doing like a CMS like Drupal, Joomla, or WordPress, or something that's using PHP and MySQL with data on the back end, and that's also running on that machine, 100% go for it. Pentium 4, it'll handle thousands of connections, like no problem. Like, because all you're doing is serving out web pages. But if they are dynamic web pages, you might have to put, some caching in place. If you use WordPress, there's caching plugins to generate, static pages for all of your content. That will help out. But for sure, use what you have before you buy something. Home Avenue, hi Tim. Hey, how's it going? Easy. Techno Tim, by the way, your name was coming up a lot today in another YouTube live stream. People are recommending your channel and praising your YouTube videos. It's pretty awesome to see. Wow. Oh, I guess I'm kind of blushing. Well, that's awesome. My face is turning like red because I can't. Things have been, my videos have been pretty well received, and I can't thank people enough for watching them. That's all. Just thank you so much for watching, liking, recommending, thumbs upping. Yeah, it's so awesome. I never thought, I won't go too long in this, and I promise I'm going to have a cool story bro emoji someday so you guys can cut me off. But, when I started this year, I never expected it to go like it has been so far. It's been super good. I know that people talk a lot of bad about YouTube's algorithm, but I am a firm believer that YouTube's algorithm works. Otherwise, no one would have seen my videos because I had 0 subscribers at the start of the year. And not that I have many now, but some of my videos are getting, a decent amount of views for someone who had, 2,000 subscribers. So anyways, long story short, I never thought that this would, it would go this way. It's really awesome and it's super fun. And, when I started out, I told myself my channel now, from now on, because it was just video games, me playing video games or, that I've had up there for years. I said, I'm going to build videos that help people do awesome things with technology. Because there's so many times I'm just like, how do I do this? I don't know how to do it. And I go on YouTube or Google and I can't find anything. Or there's a video of it and them talking about, kind of other things that, I'm not particularly interested in the moment because I'm right here pecking away at the keyboard trying to figure stuff out. But anyways, long story short, it's been awesome. That's awesome to see. Hopefully that person's channel didn't take offense. Because when people talk about other people's channels, it just creates some awkwardness. But hopefully not. All love from here. Mega chunk. As much as Apple's relatively evil business practices annoy me, I don't think I can bring myself to buy another brand because of Apple's privacy features and permissions API. I agree, 100%. I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone, I have an iPad. 100% agree with their security policy. A couple of years ago, when they were talking so much about, when they went down this privacy route, I don't know if they are playing that card or that was their long game plan, because they're not Google, right? And so do the opposite of what Google does. But for so long I questioned why can't I get my health data off here? Why can't I get whatever data off here? And I thought it was honestly a lack of innovation by Apple. I thought for sure, I'm Apple knows how to build good hardware. They paired it with a decent phone OS, Mac OS still TBD. This was years ago. I was maybe they don't know what they're doing, which is ridiculous to think that the one of the most innovative companies in the world. I thought that about, but I honestly did. I thought, either they don't know what they're doing or they don't want you to have the data. And I think it was, they were starting to understand this, and maybe this was their long game in the beginning, is that they understood that your data belongs to you on your phone and only you have access to it. And, I kind of get it now. Like, I'm okay with just my, my weight and my heartbeat and whatever else it measures from my, my Apple Watch and my scale. I'm okay with it just being on my phone because I don't really need it to be anywhere else. But I always question whether, when they made that, that decision to set up the architecture that way, the technical architecture, was that because that's all they had, or was that because of privacy? Anyways, I would love to hear from them at some point on that. I'm sure it's out there, but it's just me speculating. Sorry, this is my weird cup that I drink out of every now and then, but I got some iced coffee, trying to nurse this super bad headache I have. But to be honest, just like getting on here and getting excited and getting to talk to all you has already helped it so much. To be honest, I was like, 15 minutes ago, I was like, man, I got a headache, gotta finish this video, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it. And then I was like, man, I said no stream on Tuesday, I can't do it again on Thursday. And I was like, I know once I do it, I'll feel really good about doing it. And so I'm already glad I did. So anyways, hey, One Bolt Alien, thanks for the sub, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, you get to see my link. Hopefully that video pops up back there. I've been having trouble with a little bit of the sub images appearing back there, which I need to fix. And I've been doing a lot of migrating of Rancher to Rancher 2 stuff. Finally dog-fooded my own stuff, and I'm like, I can't do this Rancher 1 anymore. I keep talking about Rancher 2 in my videos, and I need to get fully onto Kubernetes. Well, I have 2 services left, and by the end of tonight, I'll be 100% on Kubernetes and on Rancher 2. So anyways, long story short, One Bald Alien, thank you so much for the sub. Takano, sorry, I'm a little bit backed up. Takano, hey, 3-month sub. 3 months on Tuesday. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I don't think Twitch lets you renew early. They're kind of, they'll tell you, they'll tease you, but then they're like, oh, you can't renew if it's Prime, until this day, but they'll tease you up until then. Regarding phones, specifically, yeah, I agree. I've had, I've had all kinds of phones. I've had Android phones. I had lots of Windows phones actually too, and I've had Android. I just said, and iPhones, and I'm okay with iPhone. It's pretty okay. I mean, I use piece of junk phones, and I still have this old Android phone here too that I test my app with. It's totally fine. And I used so many Windows phones because I used to develop Microsoft apps too, and that was lonely. But anyways, yeah, I have 2 phones, but my daily is my iPhone, just because it's super easy, and because like text messages and group messages and all that stuff are super easy. And I get Messenger on my Mac, which is kind of nice. I can text people while I'm working right from my keyboard. But anyways, hello, Havo7441. Hello, I came from your Streamlabs OBS Mac and it helped me very much. Oh yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for coming in and stopping in. Did you make your panels? Because I saw Sam. Yeah, I did. I totally did. Oh yeah. Yeah, Sam is my Sam. I said this on last stream, so this was Thursday. No, this was Saturday. I probably talked about Sam, Harris Heller, and the Alpha Gaming channel for about 5 minutes straight. People were probably like, what? But yeah, totally 100%. Sam inspired me so much in design. Harris has inspired me so much in social and in my channel design and approach and delivery as well. So yeah, hats off to them. I probably have another 5-minute babble. The last stream in my videos talking about them and how awesome they are and how much they've done for the community and for me personally. I mean, they have no idea who I am, but they have done so much to help me, think about how I approach, social media, videos, design, editing, everything. Sam has so many great videos on, like, if you don't know how to edit, so totally kind of tech related. If you don't know how to edit videos, you ever want to edit videos, or you ever want to create good looking designs for a stream or good looking designs for social media, Sam Woodall is one of the best around. And he has a very clean and modern approach to design. And so a lot of the stuff you'll see is inspired by him, 100%. I watch all of his videos, and I totally was, just, I've been following him since he's had, very little followers, and now he's blown up, but well deserved. Sam and Harris are awesome. Both from the Alpha Gaming channel on YouTube. You should totally check it out. You should probably subscribe to their channels too. I think your videos are great because they are nice, mid-level. Too many channels are stuck in the beginner tutorials. Oh, Kuroi Kage. Is that Japanese? Kuroi Kage. Kuroi Kage 132. Thank you. Sometimes, it's a thin line between, entry level and going too deep. So I try to go in like the 201 sense, not 101, not 301. I kind of go in with 201. But if you are new to tech or new to that technology, it's going to be 301 to you. You're going to be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Like some of my friends are like, I have no idea what you're talking about in your videos, and I'm like, you're not supposed to, it's not for you. So thank you, I appreciate that. Work Ninja, I agree with Kuroi. I'm gonna say Kuroi Kage. Your videos prompted me to repurpose my old Mac Mini as a Proxmox machine. Rancher's next, nice, thank you. I'm glad it inspired you to do it, because there's so many awesome things in tech out there now, and that have always been out there that people aren't talking about. And I know how it feels to be like totally stuck and like wishing, you had an answer to what this problem is, or how to do this right, or how to get this running. Because, that's always me. That's always me. Every weekend, every night, I'm trying something or fixing something or building something. And, I always am looking for answers. So hopefully answers I give are okay. Yeah, but I know how it feels to be totally stuck. Like when I first started doing Proxmox stuff, I had very little information that was out there. There's wikis. Of course, there was some stuff that Lawrence Systems had, Tom, and then Jeff at Craft Computing. And then there were a few others, but they were more just like kind of talking about it. Like, oh, and here's where you do this, like very high level and hypothetical. And, oh, if you wanted to do this, it would be in here, or more like giving me a tour of the product. All right. And I felt like for me, I'm a doer. I like just like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, in parallel, in serial, just, give me the steps to do what I need to do. And so that's what I set out to do, because that's how I write my instructions. That's how I've written documentation for, when I used to write software documentation, it's very kind of dry, but exactly what you need, very little fluff, and so I tried to do that, and with a little bit of context too. I mean, people have given me feedback and, and they've said like, hey, I have no idea what this command is that I just did it because you said to do it. And in the future, maybe a little context would help. So I try to sprinkle in some of that. Here I sprinkle in a little bit too much context on stuff, but Twitch is different. This is where, I'm just setting aside some time to hang out with everybody. But I really appreciate that. And Rancher is a ton of fun. It's really awesome thinking, that, hey, I have Kubernetes running in my basement. Like this is something that runs, Google Cloud, that runs whatever cloud you name, or any large company you can think of, their services are almost guaranteed to be running on Kubernetes. And so awesome to think like, hey, in just, 15, 20 minutes, of, you know, powering through, getting Rancher installed, and Rancher spinning up Kubernetes for you, that you could have Kubernetes in your house. And I know I even told a guy I worked with last night, I was like, dude, I totally 100% have Kubernetes running at home with reverse proxy, Let's Encrypt, traffic running, MinLLB, you know, all these services that are giving me, you know, a cloud, just like if I was, you know, GCP, Google or Amazon, you know, I could let someone deploy their Kubernetes clusters to my house, you know, or I could join someone else's clusters. But it's just awesome to think about. And so Rancher is a good intro to that. And it's sad that Rancher hasn't picked up in popularity. I think it's just because it's like, you know, it's a tool for enterprise people, but I found that it's a nice tool for home too, to get introduced to Kubernetes without having to know everything. And as you start to use Rancher and you're like, okay, well, I need to deploy a workload and I need to create, you know, an ingress or a load balancer, you'll have those terms so that one day if you ever decide to do some Kubernetes and do it from the terminal, you'll be like, oh yeah, that ingress. Yeah, I remember that. Or, hey, when I deploy something, you know, in Rancher, you know, that's a service. Oh, okay, so this is what my service YAML file is, you know, and start to piece those together. So, but I think it's awesome, and it's coming. But you know, I said this a few times, but I develop software, and I love being able to deploy software as soon as I'm done with it, like immediately. You know, build and deploy my software, deploy it out to the cloud, whether that cloud be in my basement or Google's cloud. Soon I'll have some instructions on how to do that too, because that's where it's really cool. Then it's like, hey, write your code or build your own custom Docker image, you know, put it in your own, you know, Kubernetes cluster within Rancher, and get certificates for it automatically, expose it to the public, and, you know, let anyone, you know, join in the fun of whatever you're hosting. So yeah, more to come for sure. TFAT, hey, how's it going? I skipped your question. I do apologize. TFAT, okay. Here I'm winding back. I want to install Open Media Vault on Proxmox server. Proxmox was installed on an SSD, and I have 2 extra disks for storage. What's your advice on using the hard drive? Should I pass them through to create a disk pool in Proxmox? It depends. So I'm not super familiar. Let me scroll back down, TFAT. I just read it. So I'm not super familiar with Open Media Vault. Like, I looked at it real quick when I was deciding like what my next storage solution was going to be, and it seemed pretty okay. And I saw Techno Dad. I think that's his name. He has tons of videos on it. And the only reason why I know that is because it's like, I'm Techno Tim and he was Techno Dad. And I was just like, okay. Anyways, that's why it stuck. But, you know, I don't know the answer to that question. If I were you, I don't know if Open Media Vault supports ZFS. If it does support ZFS, you probably want to pass it through to Open Media Vault. And I think this is what HomeLab New is talking about right here. But if they don't have ZFS, you could create the ZFS pool, you know, in Proxmox, and then just hand that down as a disk to Open Media Vault, and then manage your ZFS in Proxmox. It just kind of depends on what Open Media Vault, you know, what kind of storage solution they have. Let's go back. Dan Mazer. Actually, the issue is I know what to do, but don't know how to do it. Make a server most lightweight way. I am Angular dev. All right, I've done some Angular, man. Done some Angular. I feel you. And I've watched every thing on the internet. Oh. Also, how much can you actually do with it? Want to try everything you do. Big fan. Oh, thank you, Tan Mazer. So yeah, I have done Angular too. So I'm all React now, but I used to do a lot of Angular. So if you want to get the most, from your hardware, I would recommend. This is tough. This is tough. It just depends on your Pentium. Like, does your Pentium support virtualization? How much RAM do you have? How much disk space do you have? That will all kind of, depend on what I would recommend. I don't know much about Pentium 4s. I haven't looked at those specs lately, but if they support virtualization and it has, at least a 2-3 gigahertz clock speed and you have some decent RAM, I mean, you might want to try Proxmox. But if you don't, and you are a web developer and you just want to deploy workloads like Kubernetes, if you're an Angular developer, you probably deploy those workloads to Kubernetes. You could spin up Rancher bare metal too. And that would be acceptable. I mean, I have no problem running anything bare metal. It just depends on, what you have as far as resources go. And so, yeah, it just really depends on what you want to do and how powerful that Pentium 4 is. To be honest, I unless I was going to virtualize tons of stuff, so I virtualize things. I have a need for virtualization. Someone who's maybe, a web developer may not care about virtualization, but they might care about, Docker and Kubernetes. If that's the case, and you're never going to virtualize any operating system, go Rancher bare metal. But if you do care about virtualization and you think that one day you might, want to virtualize Linux or virtualize Windows or virtualize some other operating system, yeah, go Proxmox. Throw a Hyper-V, Hyper-V. Get a hypervisor, probably Proxmox, and then in there, throw in your Rancher or whatever OS you want in there, and virtualize that OS, and then containerize all your workloads. That's my jam right now is totally virtualize only what I need to, containerize everything else. And I've said it a million times, but that's because, that's what I need from my home lab. I mean, you might need something different from your home lab. Like I said, if you don't care about virtualizing OSs and you just want to get the most bang for your buck for your hardware, go bare metal, Rancher. Totally fine. I think I gotta back up just a tiny bit. ZFS, TFET. Sorry. So that was a long spiel about that. Install Proxmox virtual disk. What I'm trying to do is set up shared storage. Okay. What will your next video be about? It's coming. I gave lots of hints. I already gave lots of hints in this while I've been talking. And I gave hints on the first video. I usually don't tell. Not that it's a huge surprise, but you'll have to see, and it'll be coming soon. I need to finish editing it, or it will not get out Saturday morning. Saturday morning is my release day. I release every Saturday morning. It's like Saturday morning cartoons back in the day, except for their mediocre tech videos by me. But no, I'm continuing this theme. I'll put it that way. But it's not a huge secret, but it's fun to not tell people. At least for me it is. But you'll see. It'll be out Saturday. I'll make it out unless I'm like in the hospital or something. It will get done. I'll stay up all Friday night if I have to. So Home Lab anew. Oh, you guys are figuring out the ZFS stuff. Sweet. Techno Tim, have you tried Ceph FS on Proxmox? I have not. One bad alien. I apologize. I'm a little beyond the comments. I have not. And so I know very little about it. Sounds interesting. I know that when I was upgrading Proxmox from 5 to 6, there was this whole big long article on hey, if you're using, Ceph FS, if that's how you pronounce it, do all this. If you're not, then don't. And I just kind of skipped that part. So no, I haven't looked into it. I'm interested to know what it's all about. Is that for basically creating a mesh of storage, or an array of storage on the network, but mesh, if that makes sense? This is what Techno, Craven, this is a Techno dad life where we build and learn to create as a community. Here we go now. Yeah, Techno Dad Life. I think that, it's Techno Dad Life, I think. I don't know, Techno Dad. Yeah, he's the one that has all the Open Media Vault stuff. Because I watch so many of his videos when I'm like, do I do FreeNAS or Open Media Vault? FreeNAS or Open Media Vault? And I watch so many of them. And I spun up in a virtual machine too, but I ended up going with FreeNAS. It was like, after I spun up FreeNAS and looked at it, I was like, okay, no question about it. And, that's the way I'm going. DZ89, would you mind speaking a little on Kong and how it's implemented? I noticed that your service at Run for your Heimdall workload. Yeah, so DZ, so Kong is an API gateway, and so for me, it's I might be moving off it, not because there's something wrong with it, just because I need to kind of simplify my architecture. But that aside, Kong is a great high performing API gateway. So if you think about, like, if you have it kind of acts like a reverse proxy. And what it does is it enables you to serve out all of your data from your microservices through, one entry point. So let's say, for instance, you had 5 microservices and you own DZ.com, and that's probably be an expensive domain to buy. But if you own DZ.com and you were going to have an API and you were like, okay, well, I'm going to API.dz.com, send all my traffic there, and then you can then look at all of the traffic coming in, inspect the different parts. I mean, just like routing in Nginx, and route all of that traffic accordingly. But with that, you get a lot of API management too. So you can do API keys. You can keep track of all your errors in one place. You can see your throughput. You can see where these requests are coming in from. So you get a lot of API management stuff. And I think it's really cool. When I was migrating my services, I had a problem migrating it. And I was like thinking to myself, like, is it really worth it for the 3 services I exposed publicly? It was worth it for me to learn about it, but is it still worth it for me to maintain going forward? And it's pretty easy to maintain, but I had a hard time migrating it. So I'm still like on the fence, like, am I going to keep using Kong? I've used Kong and I've used Tyke was the other one, TYK, and they're both fantastic. But that's all it was for me. I have 3 microservices I want to expose through one API, and then that one API, I give out to all of my clients, my virtual clients, whatever, not people, and they all come in through one gateway, and and then they'll have paths, and so it's whatever, it's API/DZ, API/CZ, API/Breezy, and they get routed accordingly. And then I can see all that traffic in one place. And then I can give out API keys to those clients that are connecting, and then, enforce API keys and all that good stuff. So it's great API management. It might be, I think I over-optimized, but that's technically, I don't know. I over-optimize a lot. Or I think I put an API gateway in before I really had a use for an API gateway, but just to learn about it. And I've been running an API gateway for, I'd say, like 2 years. I ran Tick for a year until my license ran out, and they were like, no more for you. And then, well, that was on their front end had a license, which I don't want to learn, the Tick DSL to try to manage their API gateway through CLI. And then that's where I was like, okay, time to check out Kong. And Kong doesn't have a great UI, but then there's a third-party one called Konga that has it. Now, you could probably see that in the dashboard video. So yeah, that's my spiel on Kong. Great API gateway. A lot of huge companies are using it. Great open source project. But TFAT, let me grab a drink of this really quick. It's funny, I program most of the day and do very little talking, and then when the camera goes on, I'm just like talk. It's like, if I didn't have you guys here, I would have said 100 words today, because I've just been working from home. Anyway, one of my Proxmox nodes has 8 gigs, okay, and install a Debian server for Docker and Open Media Vault on Proxmox. I allocated 3 gigs of RAM to both VMs. I found out that both VMs are slow. When I checked the RAM using FreeM, found out that both VM only have 960 megs of RAM each. I tried everything to increase the RAM, shut down all VMs, and run OMV. Still RAM remains at 960. I also ticked and unticked ballooning, so there's no improvement. What could be wrong? I'm not sure. That's a good question. You can totally turn off ballooning, turn off ballooning on the machine, which you said you did. I would probably remote into the machine and see if it really is using that much RAM. Is it Proxmox reporting that it's only using 960? or is it the actual OS that's saying? I see you did free-m. I assume that's the output or the command you used, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the other things you can check, like, hey, is it, are they really, do they not need any more RAM? Do you see, tons of disk reads and writes when you do stuff? Because that's always a good giveaway that it's paging, to disk. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I would love to hear, more on that. One bad alien. Good thing about Proxmox is you can use old desktop hardware. Totally agree, 100%. I say this should be my motto. Like, the best way to start your home lab is, your old gaming PC. Whatever your old gaming PC is, that should be your home lab. And if you don't have an old gaming PC, create an old gaming PC by upgrading your current gaming PC, because they're usually they're awesome. They for sure are. But yeah, old desktop hardware, it could even go back. Could never been a gaming PC, never had a gaming video card in there. I just find that, gamers tend to upgrade their machines every couple of years. And so it's like, whatever you're doing with that last one, make it a server, hand me down to yourself. Yeah, totally agree. One bad alien. How easy is it to move How easy is it to move my Rancher setup from bare metal to a VM in Proxmox? That's Sid Cassidy. Good question. It depends. It depends on a couple of things. So, like, it depends on how you want to migrate it first. Like, if you really are running bare metal and you want to just convert that whole thing exactly as is to a virtual machine, you can do a P2V conversion. I don't know how Proxmox does it, if they do. There's got to be tools that do it because it's just a KVM thing. But I would look into, hey, if you want 100% migrate the OS, look into P2V. If KVM doesn't support P2V, that's a different question. So it depends on how you set up your Rancher server. If you did, single node, non-HA, it's not too terribly difficult. You would basically have to export your Kubernetes config, and then you can import it there. But the other thing is, like, if you've already done, okay, so there's all of that aside, but if you followed my guide on building one, non-HA, single core, single node, non-HA, and Docker, if you've done that on bare metal, restoring or moving that to a virtual, super easy. If you followed my way, because you can just follow my backup restore and migrate video. Doesn't have migrate in there, but you get the picture. If you can back it up, you can restore it anywhere. And so that's as simple as shutting down the Docker service, stopping that Docker container. From there, running a command to tar up all of the Docker configs, tarballing that up, then spin up your other virtual Docker Rancher server. Once that's up and running, stop the Docker container and then restore that tarball and then start the service. And it should come straight up. But you want to make sure the other one's off too. So hopefully that helps. If not, look at my video on backing up and restoring a Rancher server, because it sounds like what you want to do. How does one go about securing container? Oh yeah, container environment. Good question. Yeah, good question. I'm definitely not an expert in security. Yeah, so that's a big topic in itself. Because it goes all the way back to what you're putting in there. What containers are you putting in there? What namespaces are you putting those in? Can those namespaces talk to other namespaces? Are you keeping secrets in your code or whatever that's running in there? And then when those containers are running on that machine, who has access to that machine? Not just physical access, but network access too. What ports are then you exposing on that machine? Are you using host ports and exposing stuff like I talk about in some of my videos, which is an easy way to expose services, but If you are doing that, okay, well then what on that network can also communicate, on that port to that server? And then on top of that, like say you are doing that, are you using SSL on those ports if it's an HTTP protocol? And then if it is, and you are, then are you securing, that service through the web portal, if it has one, with, a unique username and password. So a lot of it, kind of, I mean, it's a huge question, and I'm sure there's a lot of good documentation on there, but those are the kinds of things that I think about when I spin up a new service. Fortunately for me, I have I have 2 Rancher clusters. One's, on my trusted network, one's on my non-trusted network. And so if my non-trusted network, if somebody gets on there and goes crazy, have at it, because you're just going to talk to a whole bunch of ports and services that really aren't going to give you much information. So, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to think about. I'm definitely not an expert in, security, but those are the kinds I think about too, even to the point where I've, created 2 environments, 2 totally separate clusters, for one for my trusted network, and obviously my trusted stuff runs there, for my media or for, my IoT stuff, for code I've written to communicate with my own personal, IoT stuff. And then there's public services, which are just like in, in a whole subnet that can't even communicate with my trusted subnet. So yeah, hopefully that's, kind of food for thought, things to think about, Quick freak. Looking forward to it. Cheers. Yeah, sorry. That's going back to, let you know what my next video is. And if you watch my last video, you can kind of hint. I ask some questions. Most of the time when I ask questions, it's a good feeler to see, are people interested in this? And so I had a lot of good response. So we'll see. One bad alien. I started out with ESXi 5.0, Zen Server, XCPNG, and then Proxmox. All right. I did most of those things too, except for replace Zen Server with Hyper-V. And I actually, I did ESXi, Hyper-V, ESXi, Hyper-V. I kind of went back and forth between those forever, hoping that Microsoft would I don't know, figure it out, but they didn't. Not so well. And so, yeah, I did the same thing as you. And I've gone, except for, I've gone back and forth between, ESXi and Hyper-V probably 4 or 5 times. Just like, okay, time to migrate back to ESXi. Okay, time to go back to Hyper-V. But storage array clusters, yeah, it's FreeNAS for the win. Totally agree. DZ, sorry I'm behind. Got it. Thank you for the explanation. It makes so much more sense from what I read from their site. Awesome. TFAT Proxmox claimed 3 gig was allocated. But the machines only has about 1 gig. When would you like to remote connect to my machine? I'm sorry, I can't do your tech support. But I don't. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. I don't know if you're trolling me or. But yeah, I'm not gonna remote into your machine. Nor would I let anyone remote into your machine. I mean, not that I wouldn't trust anyone in this channel, but an open invitation to let people remote into your stuff kind of sounds like, I mean, hopefully it's someone trustworthy. Not that no one in here is not trustworthy, but there are very few people that have ever remoted into any of my machines, and it's no other reason than, it's like, it's my house. It's my virtual house, But anyways, one beta, no display manager installed on the server. Okay, you guys are having your own conversation. That's cool. Sid Cassidy. Okay, we'll check out that video. Built according to your videos. Okay. That was talking about how easy to move my rancher. Okay. So Sid Cassidy, act like. So if you're watching that video, when I tell you how to back something up, act like that's your first Rancher server. And then when I tell you how to restore something, act like that's your second Rancher server. But move the tarball that you made in the first Rancher server over to the second server, and you should be good. Should be good. Clay Crusher, how's it going, man? Could you make a video setting up Nextcloud in Rancher and have secure access outside the home network? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I tried Nextcloud for a while, and I actually still use it. But like, I guess what would you like to see from that video? Only because like, it should be pretty easy to, map those ports, map all your drives, and, map your data. And that's kind of how I have mine running. Mine's a little different though. Mine's kind of like almost like a public server. When I need to give files to someone and I don't want to explain to them how to FTP something, I'm just like put it on my Nextcloud server and give them a password just so they can download a large file from me, like whatever, pictures or a video or a zip file. But I'm just curious, like what would you want to see from there? I know you have a little bit about secure access outside the network that takes a certificate. That could be, a self-signed one. That's as long as you self-signed it and the other person trusts you. That's an okay way of doing it. But are you talking about like a real certificate and a real DNS name? One bad alien at Techno Tim, I didn't know Proxmox had a turnkey Linux install template on the LXC containers until recently. Nice. Yeah, I have used very little of the templates and containers in LXC. Sorry, like so thirsty. I haven't done a ton with them. Like they sound super awesome. LXC sounds awesome, but I've just been, I use Docker now for so long that it's just like second nature to me. But a lot of people tell me how awesome, templates are for spinning up new servers. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds awesome. But like it sounds funny, but I spin up servers rarely now, mainly because I spin up containers. And so my need to spin up a new Linux server, once a week has really died down because I'm like, I can spin up containers so fast. So, but yeah, I should definitely check it out. ACL and subnetting, yeah, for sure. Proxmox has support. Finally caught a stream, Pepe Chug. Yeah, totally Pepe Chug. Sorry, I'm like yelling. And like I said, like I did very little talking today. And then like, in the last hour, I've talked more than I have like in the last 2 days. But yeah, love your YouTube content, man. Good job. Thank you. Toast Face Grilla. And I like the Toast Face Grilla. Is that a place? Is that a play on Ghostface Killa? Like it, even if it's not. Techno 10, any suggestions for my VPN problem? Trying to decide how to proceed. Home Lab, I didn't. What's your VPN problem? I didn't see you posted anything here, but is your problem you need to find a VPN? Because if you do, yeah, a good solution is your firewall or router might have it, built in. If it doesn't, then you could, spin up a virtual machine behind your, router or firewall, and then, or you can containerize it, any way you want to go, for sure. But we'll see. Security flaw, right? I didn't plan giving you remote access to the server, just RDP to one old machine and then access the server through web UI while I keep both hands on the panic button. Yeah. Well, if you gave me RDP though, you wouldn't see my session, so you would have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm always leery about. I don't know. There have been times, when talking to companies, they're like, okay, now let me remote in your machine. I'm like, no, how about you tell me what to click and I'll tell you what I see. But that's just me. That's pretty involved endeavor. You may want to look at a VPN tunnel public facing server as dangerous if not done correctly. Yeah, I agree, DZ. But at the same time, if you're running something like, like if you're running pfSense, I run Sophos XG, they have, firewalls, a really good, robust firewall built right into them. And it's, open VPN server and works really great. Just obviously use really strong key and password key combination, but then at the same time, it'll generate a certificate. So someone has to have their certificate plus your username plus your password to be able to get through that tunnel. But yeah, OpenVPN anywhere is usually pretty good. And I think there's a new player in town as far as VPNs go. Forgot the name of it, but it's picking up traction. It is a cafe here in Australia that makes toasted sandwiches. Okay, Toastface Killer. All right, I recognize Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang, right? Right? Am I right? I think so. I'm looking at using Nextcloud to back up my phone, videos, documents without relying on iCloud or Google Drive. Yeah, that's definitely a good use case for it, for sure. And, like I said, you can set it up, mostly like I do in my other videos. Like if you look at, I don't know, even the Heimdall one. Hey, Toastface Killer, yeah, or sorry, I gave you the Ghostface Killer. Hey, Toastface Grilla, yeah, thank you so much for the sub, really appreciate it. Thank you, and thank you for the Wu-Tang reference. I recognized it, appreciate it. But yeah, I totally agree, Clay. But like if you look at some of my videos and like, my Heimdall one is going to be pretty close to what you're going to be doing, except for you're going to use a different image and you're going to look at their ports and see what ports you plug in to get running on, with that service. The security piece, is the last step to get, probably a reverse proxy and a legit certificate in front of it for it to run securely. But the self-signed one, as long as you, technically, when you spun it up, it generated it, it's still going to secure that communication. It's just not trusted by a CA, which, then you got to pay for, or then you got to use something like Let's Encrypt to do. But if you wait a little bit, I might have something for you here soon. But specifically Nextcloud, I'll definitely, it's on my list. It's for sure on my list because I do use it. I just don't use it as much as I thought I would. But I think you're sparking some ideas that are use cases that I didn't think about when I thought about Nextcloud, which is, backing up your phones, using it as a phone backup, which is pretty awesome, by the way. I just, like I said, I use it to host some public, files for friends when they need something and it doesn't fit in email. That's what I use it for now. But yeah, it's the huge wall of text up there. Home lab new. Oh my gosh, did I tell? Oh gosh. Oh yeah. You guys are, yeah, the wall of text. I see it. I scrolled up enough. Wireguard is, yeah, there you go. One bad alien. Wireguard. Yeah, Wireguard's the new kid on the block, isn't it? That's the one I keep hearing about. That's supposed to be faster, more secure, and the OpenVPN killer. I think that's the one I keep reading about. And set up my family with a connect to a server with isolated storage for their stuff. Yeah, sounds like an awesome use case for sure. With Ninja, Magic guys can potentially connect your Nextcloud machine instance to something like 0 tier too. Haven't heard of it. Wireguard VPN is good as well. Yeah, I think Wireguard is the one that I keep hearing about. That's supposed to be the OpenVPN killer, like more secure, a lot faster, and a lot easier. All good. Support for all your YouTube help. Hey, thanks again, Toastface Grilla. Plexus photo backup for devices. Absolutely, they do. And I have used it before. So that's a good call, One Bad Alien. I think you need to be a Plex subscriber though. I don't know if that's a subscriber feature or not, but yep, they 100% do, and it's pretty awesome. Just got you on to do. Just wanted a solid firewall option like pfSense and take advantage of the integrated OpenVPN accessibility. Yep, that's what I do. It's what I've done for a long time. Yeah, if you did a video on setting up reverse proxy, that would be super helpful too, if you find the time. Yeah, I've been finding the time. I'll put it that way, for sure. I think it'd be super helpful too, and I think I would learn a lot from doing it because I haven't had to do it yet in Kubernetes, and it's pretty wild. That's for sure. It's no simple task, but it's the way that Kubernetes is kind of architected. pfSense has a really good wizard, and you can force the traffic to the gateway. Yeah, totally agree. pfSense has an awesome, easy way to set up OpenVPN. Is there a way to put a different WireGuard clients on different VLANs though? Yeah, I don't know. I need to totally check out WireGuard. I'm just like, my VPN solution so far has been, whatever OpenSense or whatever XG firewall it's given me. I don't see at least XG firewall for sure adding WireGuard anytime soon. So might be time for me to reevaluate, my network appliance again. I go through this like every 6 months. I swear. It's like, I'm kind of bored. Let's tear down our whole entire network and, put another virtual network in place, or a network appliance. And I do the same thing with virtualization too, but I haven't caught that bug lately. But yeah, I'd love to check out WireGuard. I mean, people are saying good things about it. I need to make sure it has things I need from it, which isn't much. Does it have, an Android client, an iOS client, a Windows client, Mac client, those kinds of things, because those are devices I use to try to get back home, when I'm on the go. But yeah. Actually, the issue is I know what to do, but don't know how to make it a server most lightweight way. I'm an Angular dev and I watched everything on the internet. Wait, we already talked about this. Dan Mazer, I think we already talked about this, or at least I answered it. So yeah, like I said, going back to this, just super high level. The most lightweight way is going to be bare metal. The most inflexible way too is also going to be bare metal. So it just depends on what you want. If you want blazing lightning speed, and you want to build, a web server, you could just totally throw Linux only on there and not even do it through a container. So I think yeah. So like if you want blazing speed, I mean that's going to be your answer, but you won't have a lot of flexibility. So it really just depends on what I need a few more requirements other than speed. Because if you want to make it fast as possible, yeah, you could just do bare metal, whatever, any kind of web server you want, and then put Nginx or reverse proxy in front of it, and then get certificates that way with Let's Encrypt. I'm waiting on FreeBSD WireGuard package. Yeah, I hope. Like I said, does it for me? Like if I were to switch, well, one, I'd have to know more about it. All I've heard is marketing from people and on the web, and I keep hearing the OpenVPN killer. That's like its tagline so far. So I need to learn a little bit more about it, like how it's different, why it's different. I know people say it's more secure, it's faster, and it's new. Like OpenVPN, I feel like is older technology. So I need to understand that. And then next, okay, how can I host it? And then after that is, okay, do they have a client for every system I run? Because I need Windows, Mac, iPhone, Android. And if I can get them on all those, then yeah, we're in business. It's got clients for all those. Thank you, HomeLab New. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Okay, good news. Okay, what about the server though? What about the server though? Okay, so I'll have to figure out how I can integrate it. It does not approve from pfSense. Yeah, they've been with OpenVPN for a long time. Is there much performance difference in running native TrueNAS or Proxmoxing? Oh, I like it. We're verbing it now. All right, or Proxmoxing it. Yeah, I like it. Toastface Gorilla. It with pass-through. I'm stuck deciding on RAID 0 iSCSI over dual SFP plus 10 gigabit. Is there much of a performance difference in running it native or so the OS? No, very little. Your storage, yeah, it can matter. It can matter. So so the way that I set up is I pass through my whole entire drive controller so I have FreeNAS virtualized, the OS only, and then I pass through my HBA controller, which has my SFP connections that go to my disk array. And so because of that, it's bare metal from that card on, if that makes sense. And so because I passed the controller through, it has direct access to all of the drives in my disk array. And so to it knows no difference from bare metal versus virtual. The OS is still virtualized, but my LVM and all of my storage isn't. So that's exactly what you need to know. Cool. And that's how I would recommend doing it. Like if you're going to virtualize FreeNAS, I wouldn't virtualize the storage. I would pass whatever your controller is through from the host to the guest, and then it'll treat it. Then it's just like, a physical connection at that point. But yeah, I've never once run FreeNAS bare metal ever. I mean, I haven't run a lot of things bare metal because I've used some kind of hypervisor for so many years. My hypervisor is the only thing bare metal. That and Raspberry Pis and my client machines, pretty much. I'm using IPsec and OpenVPN now. Nice. RAID 0, risky no. Oh yeah, that's true. Good call. RAID 0, that's a stripe, man. Yeah, like one dies, they're all gone. So maybe you meant RAID. Yeah. Wait, RAID. Yeah. I'm like second guessing. Yeah, that's a stripe, and one is mirroring. So yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call. Home Avenue. Work Ninja, talking to Clay Crusher. Ubuntu, one bad alien, Ubuntu. Awesome. So, okay. Oh, this is going back to what you were talking about for I keep wanting to say Wireshark. It's Wireguard. Yep, it's actually built into Linux curl at Techno Tim. Oh yeah. That's what I remember reading that when I remember reading that too, which is pretty awesome. Work Ninja. All right, we'll see you, man. Take care. Perfect sense. Exactly what I need to do since kernel 5.6 anyway. Awesome. One bad alien. I use HBA card on bare metal Supermicro 2U server. Nice. You can't resist the performance. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've striped stuff too, and I know that's the first thing people will say, like, oh, basically what I said to you, but for me, yeah, like if I stripe something, it's because I want to, like you said, like you want performance, like, I don't know. I've striped when I had a Windows, older Windows desktop machine. I used to stripe hard drives there because it was the way to get, a lot more performance on spinning Rust. This is before I had solid states. I'd stripe them there. And I had the Raptor drives, 10K Raptor drives, Western Digital Raptor drives, and I'd stripe 2 of them. I'm like, and this was, I don't know, it was probably 6-7 years ago, probably more than that, 7-8 years ago. And, SSDs were just like, people weren't, they were too expensive then. Maybe more than there. But you got 2 old Raptors. I still do. I think they were like 250 gig Raptors or something, and I would stripe them. Yeah, Velociraptors, 10Ks, and I would stripe them. And I was just like, oh well, it's games and OS. All of my data was on my D drive, which probably had D was always my data drive. And that was probably, I don't know, 500 gig. And I was like, yeah, this thing's so beast. All my documents can fit in here. And I was like, well, if my OS and games die, oh well, because everything's backed up on my D drive. So yeah, I agree with you. I've striped things in the past before, and I'm just like, oh well, I want the performance, I'll take the risk. Totally. I do RAID 10 if I care, and I want speed, 1+0, where it's a stripe and parity, and that's what I have set up on some of my stuff. RAID 10 with 6 drives. I only kept them because of the nostalgia, really. Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know what I did with my Raptor drives. I think I wiped them all, but man, they got so hot, and they were kind of loud too. When they were searching, I was just like, oh my gosh. One of the drives where I had to get like the rubber gaskets, you know, to attach it because it was like in my PC and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's so loud. Like I can hear it like searching. You got 320s. Wait, what's at Techno Tim? I have used ASUS board with onboard SCSI controllers that was Ultra 320 10K drives. Nice. That's so awesome. Yeah, I used to run server boards too. Server boards, like, yeah, I guess they were server boards, like consumer grade, not integrate, or enterprise grade motherboards. But I used to too for my desktop, a Tyan one. It was pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, yeah, why wouldn't I? It's kind of like when I was younger, I brought, this is totally aside, but I was younger and I bought wrestling shoes because I thought they looked awesome. No idea they're wrestling shoes. Ran a mile in them. My gym teacher was like, oh, why are you wearing wrestling shoes? And that's when I was like, it clicked. I was like, these are wrestling shoes. Anyways, yeah, just being young and naive. I love it. Open Media Vault supports ZFS all pass through the hard drives. Yeah, it's a good choice. I would too. The good old days, yeah, for sure. Cries and gigabit Ethernet. Hey, I still have gigabit here. I do wish I had 10 gig, or at least my backbone on my switch was something more than 1 gig, because yeah, I can saturate a gig easily now. Still unable to resolve the RAM issue. It's 2:24 a.m. here. Stayed up late to catch the stream. I apologize. Thanks for the support. Gotta go. TFAT, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you stayed up so late to hope I could help. I definitely I definitely would love to help, but I don't feel like remoting in your machine would be a good idea. But I hope you figure it out. Yeah. They were really loud. Yeah, I think we're talking about the Raptor drives, the 10K Velociraptors. Yeah, they totally were really old. 40. Hey, 40's not old. 40 is not old. 40 is the new 30, isn't it? 30 is the new 20? I don't know. 40 is definitely not old in my book. Not at all. Shane Singleton, One Bad Alien, me as well. Also born. A lot of 40s in here. Hey, that's awesome. That was in 2001. Oh, the Velociraptors? I think I didn't have mine until later, unless you're talking about your board. I think you're talking about your board, because I was like, my Velociraptors, I had them in like 2005, I think. Oh, the ASUS board. Okay, yeah. Yep. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, and I was like in IT too, and like I was working tech support, and I was like, yes, you know, out of college, and finally was getting a check. I'm like, yeah, I can totally build out, you know, I can stripe an array of Raptor drives in my PC and load Battlefield 1942 like no other. Watch my Windows machine boot in 15 seconds versus 60, you know. Anyway, TFAT, feel free to give me my please feel free to give me SSH access to your machine anytime. Yeah, like yeah, just yeah, tread, yeah, be careful before you offer up giving someone you barely know remote access to your machine. But yeah, I feel bad that he had these problems, and hopefully he didn't wait till 2:20 in the morning for me just to say like remoting in isn't a good idea. So, because I really feel bad, but TFAT, like, hey, we're always here in Discord. Like, there's someone in Discord from almost every time zone in the world. So, like, post it there. I'm sure someone would love to help. Probably not post any, you know, personal information like how to get into your machine there. But you might be able to connect with someone who can give you an answer better than I can live on stream. My very first PC was a 386. All right, like it. Yeah, Toastface Grilla. I discovered a pro tip accidentally in regards to FreeNAS and Proxmox. I get it all running on one server, and I had a few VMs auto start. Okay. I had my Linux Docker VM trying to mount a FreeNAS share, but the FreeNAS VM took much longer to boot, even with boot order dialed into Proxmox. The Linux VM wouldn't map to the share. Wait, what's going on? So you had to add a 300-second delay in Grub. Huh. Interesting. I never, FreeNAS and Proxmox. Yeah, I don't think I've run into that, but that's good to know. I'm just trying to read through here. I had my Linux Docker VM trying to mount a FreeNAS share, but the FreeNAS VM took so much longer to boot. Okay, so interesting, good to know. I haven't run into that before. Yeah, I don't think any of my machines, well, yeah, I take that back. Some mount NFS shares when they boot up. I have noticed that, Ubuntu will hang on shutting down if it's not there. And so there's a fix you can put in place, which drives me crazy. And it took me forever to find the fix. But yeah, good to know. Is anyone familiar with cable costs for hard drives? I'm getting a Dell 730 XD delivered soon with a 12 gigabit per second HBA controller. Curious if these 12 gigabit cables are going to bankrupt me. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That's, yeah, I mean, the one cable I connected from my, HBA controller to my disk array, my NetApp, was $40. I actually bought 2 of them and I didn't need to. But I thought maybe I could get some more throughput, but that's not how it works. So I plugged them both in anyways, who knows. But yeah, they're $40 a piece. I could have got by with one, but I don't know for the 12 gigabit, I have no idea, but man, those cables are not cheap. So I had to add a 300, I read that, sorry. One bad alien. I can't wait till we can game on Linux. With all that BS, so tired of Windows. Yeah. I will try to help. I will try and help you over the weekend. Yeah, gaming on Linux seems like I feel like it keeps trying to gain some steam and then fizzles out. Oh, Steam, that was a good pun there. Because yeah, Steam OS, what happened to that? Now it's just like, hey, the best way to play games on Linux is install the Steam client and remote into your Windows machine. And I say that lightheartedly, but it's the truth. But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, Windows is the best platform to game on right now, and it's one of the few things that makes me 100% on Windows. I mean, OBS is already on Linux, and I feel like so that would be awesome for the industry too. Be a huge cost to some people, but it would be awesome because then it would force Stream Deck, Go XLR, all of these devices that I have, that are for gamers, that only support Windows right now. Cause they Windows for drivers are drivers for Windows, maybe drivers for Mac. But Linux, yeah, right. If they're not making it for Mac, they're not making it for Linux. And so it would be awesome. Cause if gaming picked up on another OS, then like a lot of these hardware manufacturers would say, okay, now we need to go, they're going to go where the money is basically. And so, yeah, that'd be cool. I would love to try it out. Like I've ran some flavor of Linux desktop every now and then. It's been a while. I spun up Pop! OS a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, this is cool, but sad as it is, like, there's one thing, I have to do on Windows and one thing I have to do on Mac. And it's just like, Windows, it's mostly gaming. Mac, it's build iOS apps. And so that's why, otherwise I would love to be, 100% all in Linux. Because at the end of the day, I just need terminal, I need VS Code, for me to work, and I need a browser, that's about it. Play some music, of course, Spotify or whatever's going to be there, or VLC or whatever for my local music, or however I get music. I'm sure it's there. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. OBS is there though, which would be awesome. I would love to try to stream once on OBS, but that would be dreadful. I think before I do that, I think at some point I'm going to build a dual PC, like a dual PC, 2 PCs, 1 case. Sounds kind of weird to say, but I think I will. And then maybe one day I could 100% stream on Linux, because that would be sweet. I could do NDI. That's true. That is true. I wouldn't do NDI for that. Okay, so if I was going to build a dual PC, I could do dual PC stream. but I was thinking like I would build just a dual PC, like one's running Windows, one's running Linux, just so I can toggle back and forth between them. And then it'd be super sweet to one day totally just do 100% stream in Linux, not necessarily with NDI, but 100%, Linux. Because OES is on here, and NVIDIA drivers are on there if you sign your life away and sign up for, you get restricted drivers and all that mess. Hopefully, NVENC also works on Linux. I have to check that out. So yeah, scrolling back a little bit. DZ, it's going to be a sad day. Wait, did I? Oh, yeah, we just went on a tangent about Linux. Yeah. It's going to be a sad day when your Twitch channel gets too big. We can't even pick your brain on tech. We appreciate you, brother. No, yeah, I don't think it'll be that way. No, for sure. Like, no, you can always pick my brain. I'm, I don't know if it'll ever get like that. I'm fine still scrolling through comments one by one. If I don't get to the backlog, then I don't get to the backlog. I'll just do the best I can in the time I have. Because, I don't know. I just feel like, you guys are taking time to hang out and write comments. And, the least I can do is try to address or talk about the things that you're asking. So anyways, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm waiting on that moment too. Wish I could just stick Linux for everything. Yeah, I do, just because like then I know like I'm in good hands. I'm in good hands. I'm in like the community's hands, or there's a fix that will come from someone who also has the problem, or there's a pain point that someone has and they'll address it by fixing it in the bug, because they are in the ecosystem. And that's why I would like to be on Linux. It's not just because it's not Windows, and not because it's just not Mac. It's because, I'll be on a community-owned and liable platform. And, that platform, isn't going to be swayed by, marketing or whatever. Or if they think something's not fit for it, and so, rarely are you ever like, you get a feature in Windows or Mac and you're like, yep, exactly what I wanted. Yep. Yeah, I had that problem. It's more marketing like, you can do this now. And you're like, oh, I don't even know how I'd use that yet, but maybe I will, and that's why I would like to be on Linux, just to, not that I understand how to write like platform code or C++ or C or anything like that, but just because, just the sense of community around it, I think so. But again, like I don't hate Windows, I don't hate Mac. I use both equally. I get 9 hours in the day on a Mac and about another 9 hours in the day on Windows, and all in between SSHing into Linux servers. So to me, I don't mind. But I would love to have one machine that does everything. Haven't found that yet. So anyways, I'm totally going off on a tangent. Have I heard of Deviant Allman? I have not, Takano. What's that all about? Wait, the containers boot with grub? I'm not sure. I don't think so. When I cold booted the host machine, Shane Singleton. Okay. Huge plus to what DZ said. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is all new to me, so I'll be the same Tim, hopefully. But yeah, I'll try to, like I said, try to address everything everyone says, because yeah, you guys are all here and you took the time to write something, so I'll try to take the time to address your comment. I've been on Pop! OS for my lap for 2 years, one bad alien. That's awesome. NDI, you asked about NDI. I think I'm jumping all over in conversation. Could you also ISE Parsec and have a rack-mounted game machine? Just use Parsec for your Windows work. Yeah, totally could. I could virtualize Windows. I already do, and pass through a GPU and then use Parsec. I totally could. 100% could. But still, like I like my OS that I'm on all day long to be bare metal. I mean, I could get by virtualizing it. It'll be fine. But it's just something about, even a tiny bit of like latency when I'm typing, might, well, I rarely see that in RDP. RDP is pretty good. Parsec would probably be even better. I have one of those Fantex cases for a dual PC. All right, haven't put in second PC yet. The Fantex power supply for a dual PC is way too expensive. Sid Cassidy, that's good to know. Yeah, because I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do that, and I'm not sure if I ever will. I've always been like, I'm a single PC person. I used to dual boot. I used to triple boot. I triple boot for a long time. I would do Hackintosh, Windows, and Ubuntu. And I only did Ubuntu just so I can be up to date on what Ubuntu is doing. So yeah, I used to triple boot all the time. But it would be nice not to have to triple boot. I don't even dual boot anymore. That's sad. I just realized that. I've been dual booting almost my whole life. I feel like once I figured out how to dual boot, I used to all the time. But then UEFI kind of messed everything up. And it was like, when you go to install the second OS, you're just kind of like, hope I didn't mess up my UEFI partition for Windows. And, it was like 50-50 shot I did. So I kind of stopped dual booting. So anyways, a dual PC system would allow me not having to dual boot. Then I could do some cool things with dual PC stream. Not that I need to, like I'm running anything now, but I could totally, flip to that machine, which I couldn't RDP anyways, but do some cool stuff. And I've thought about like, hey, what would a Proxmox workstation build look like? Where I pass everything through, where I'm running, a virtual machine, but passing all the hardware through to me so I can work on it. It's just cool things like that I could try that I just don't have the extra hardware to right now. So yeah, I have one of those. Okay, One Bad Alien. Have I tried Volumio? I haven't. I don't know what it is. What is it? Can someone explain what the server rack accessories that make them so expensive? Why do reels cost $100? Yeah, I totally agree. So I'm Lymanson. They do it because people want to make money, and the people who need, rail kits are most people like us, or it's the whole entire aftermarket, So they just make money off us, When I used to rack servers, we would replace, an IBM server with an IBM server, and we would almost throw the rail kits away. We wouldn't throw them away, but we had nothing to do with them. I assume that's what these people are doing too. And so enterprise people aren't going to go onto eBay and, pay $100 for rail kits. They're going to talk to their supplier, which they're probably paying that much anyways, if not more. But, to them, it's a little different. But yeah, I totally agree. I wish I could find them for, $25. That's what I think they're worth. But yeah, it's crazy. So I ended up buying like a whole bunch of the little shelf things that, they're not sliding racks, but they're shelves and they work just fine. I can't, slide out my server nicely or kind of at all without it falling. But I've only had to do it one time since I had it in the rack. And I wish I would have racked them the other way around, but anyway, because it kind of stinks. But I totally agree on Lymanson. I just think it's people knowing who their market is. Oh, okay. So, Takano, he's a pen tester who breaks into buildings as his job. He's done a couple DEF CON talks, and it's super interesting to watch. Nice. I'll have to check him out sometime. But maybe he has a podcast or something. Deviant Ullman. I'll look for him though, for sure. That totally sounds interesting. Probably rarity of those parts when sold alone. Yeah, I think that too. And I mean, it's like, yeah, I think it's rarity has a big play into it because like who else is going to be buying, old enterprise gear? It's, a handful of people. I mean, it's a lot of us, but in the grand scheme of things, small market. Toastface Grilla, yeah, same problem. Yeah, they are expensive. Totally. I've been through it so many times. I think even on Craigslist, I see people selling them for $100. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like they're, almost new on eBay for $100. Like Craigslist, you expect to get like the homie hookup. You know what I mean? Just like you're not going to pay eBay prices on Craigslist most of the time. But I think people have figured out on Craigslist too that like there's something to be said about being able to see it and get it now. And so I think that, Craigslist is like becoming like the convenience store of eBay. You know what I mean? That's what I've been noticing lately. Like either that or people are, just understanding that their stuff is worth more than what they're used to be selling it for. A lot of people used to consider everything junk. Now they're just like, no, this is pretty good. So anyways, I noticed with home lab stuff, especially server racks, unless they want them just taken out of their house, I think they're kind of building in the convenience fee. You can get it today, because I bought RAID adapters, off of Craigslist, and there was like no budging on price. And not that I'm gonna lowball anyone, but I was just like, is this the best offer? Is this the best you can do? And they're like, yep. I'm like, cool. But same price I would have paid on eBay, which I'm totally fine. And for me, it was great because I can, go pick it up today. But I think people are onto it. And, the people who are selling this stuff are people like me and you. And so, they think like me and you too. Like if you had, a stack of 10 rail kits for a Dell R710 and you could sell them for $100, would you? I would, So I see both sides to it for sure. Because you're like, heck yeah, that's $1,000 right there for 10 of them, or even one that's $100. Like I understand that they're probably worth $25, but I'm gonna get 100. So anyways, so I agree. Prices are steep, but at the same time, if I were selling them, I would do the same thing. I mean, I might give them a little bit of a a discount. But anyways, Shane, okay, so I rambled a little bit. I got a big lab machine that I've got Proxmox on. I'm virtualizing FreeNAS as well as Linux VM that's running Rancher, Docker, etc. I also have a share in the FS tab to mount the shares on the FreeNAS VM, okay, at boot, so a few Docker apps can use it. Gotcha. The difficulty is when I power down the host machine, everything, and power back up, when the Proxmox tied to the auto start VM and the Linux VM started up way before FreeNAS was fully loaded. Oh, so you got to put a delay. You got to put a delay, more of a delay. And I do that dance too on Proxmox because I have some machines that absolutely cannot be on until FreeNAS is up. So my startup order on my Proxmox is number one, virtual firewall. Without that, nothing's going to work. Things aren't going to get IPs, not going to have internet. So I let that start up. Then I give it probably a 60-second delay or something. So my delays are pretty long because I'm not here to like, oh, I could save 5 seconds here and I could save 20 seconds here. Well, I lose all that the first time something doesn't boot exactly in the order I want it to. I think ESXi was way better at this because on ESXi, they could actually, when the agent contacts the ESXi server, it would then boot the next one, which was awesome. That's what I wish Proxmox would do with their guest agent, the QEMU. I wish they would do that. So I wish I could write that kind of code to add a pull request to that. But anyways, so I give mine lots of time. And like I said, my number one, virtual firewall. So if you're running pfSense, number one, give it plenty of time. Give it 60 seconds afterwards. I know that stinks, but how often do you really reboot it? And then how many times do you accidentally start the next thing up too soon? And do the same thing for FreeNAS, because FreeNAS, has to do some integrity checks. It has to try to check the drives, make connections, and do a lot of things. And so I think my FreeNAS is number two. And then I wait probably another 60 seconds after that to then start up all of my other things that are trying to either auto mount or start dumping things there, like my video cameras and stuff like that. So I mean, my only suggestion is give it plenty of time, for sure. One bad alien, I run 2 hard drives and just select the boot drive I need. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's wise. That's super wise. Because the way I was doing it, I was like grub trying to manage, Windows too, or yeah. And so I learned when I used to build Hackintoshes too, totally unplug every drive. And when I used to build Hackintoshes, well, my machine had dual boot, I'd unplug every single drive. And I learned a few times from not doing that when I was installing it by just totally making my Windows partition toast. So I turned it, an hour and a half project into like 7. But anyways, yeah, totally. I hear you. I've gone as far as unplugging the drives. In one of his talks, he explained how you can bypass the card readers and the like. Interesting. Yeah, hopefully people that are using card readers read that, or maybe they're exposing some flaws in card readers in general. DEF CON, yeah, I've never been to DEF CON, but would be good to know if Takano's ever been. That sounds glorious. And how did you manage to bypass the card readers? Okay, nope, haven't attended a single DEF CON, sadly. Okay, talk about how you just get a generic key, cost $1 on eBay, and then open the door, King Systems, and then just bridge the postal switch access. Interesting. I did the same thing and just bought the shelves. Yeah, Toast, I did too. I mean, even those are kind of expensive for what they are. You know, some of them are like 20, 30 bucks. I'm like, once again, they know their market, you know, they're not the $100, you know, they're not the $100 reel kit. They're the $30 piece of metal because you don't want to pay the $100 for the reel kit, you know? And what are you really getting? You're getting some metal that's bent, that fits, you know, and it doesn't even really fit because they're adjustable. So they're like one size fits all. But yeah, I'm kind of salty about that too. Like, it was nice to be able to get something cheaper than actually paying for rail kits, but at the same time, even those were pretty expensive pieces of metal. Very clever stuff. So you're talking about this guy. All right. The delay in Proxmox wouldn't work for some reason, even trying to add seconds in the options. Interesting. Are you sure you got the delay set up right? Because I think it's a little bit, it's not intuitive. It's not intuitive, I'll put it that way. There's like a delay start and a delay shut down. And I'd have to look at it again. But I don't remember if the delay start is actually like, yeah, I'd have to look at it again. Because it's not like ESXi, which was super predictable, intuitive, and at the same time you could say, hey, when the guest agent actually contacts me, then start the next guy, which was fantastic. But I would look at it again to make sure it's doing what you think it should do. Because mine work reliably, and maybe I could take a peek at mine at some point and put them in Discord. So I studied InfoSec at uni in the UK and actually had the problem there where you could bypass tons of magnetic doorways and access control points using the elevator. The kicker, it's all in the InfoSec department building. Oh yeah, isn't that like kick in the pants? Shane Singleton, so I added 300 seconds in the grub config in Linux. Oh, there's a way. That's good to know. Nice. Hey, that's some ingenuity right there. Just like, hey, Proxmox isn't doing what I want to do, just add it to grub. Nice. Elevator hacking from the pit to the penthouse. Nice. Anyways, gotta run, man. Again, your videos have been super helpful. Finally got me over my fear of learning some Docker. Nice. Take it easy. Stream on. Yeah, stream on, Shane. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Toastface Grilla. Yeah, it's been pretty infuriating. Wasted money could be on more RAMs. I totally agree. Like, totally agree. Like, we should just start a Kickstarter of like server rails for 20 bucks and find, you know, some manufacturing place to manufacture them for 5 and then, you know, make 75% profit on them. Because it's, you know, that's all it really is. It's probably cheaper than that. I guarantee the ones that, you know, HP and Dell and all the other enterprise servers, you know, they're paying, you know, dollars for them, single dollars to have them manufactured. But you just find out where that manufacturing plant is and just hang out by their dumpster and just hopefully they'll throw out all the defective ones, which would be perfect for me because they'll still work. But yeah, totally agree. If I let myself in, tactics of the physical pen testers. Those are the two main ones. Yeah, man, I'll have to check them out. Man, physical building security, bypassing that with card readers. Yeah, they seem pretty low tech for what they are too. I mean, the ones that I've gone through when I used to go to work, like if you had your bus pass in there, it would jam them. If you had your credit card in there, they wouldn't work. I'm like, this is like, you know, this is physical security to get in this building. And you mean to tell me if I have a card next to the card, it won't work? Like, yeah, it's kind of a, I think the whole card reader stuff is kind of a joke for physical security. And I don't know, even the ones I work at, like if someone goes through them, no one looks. you know. But the other place I used to work, that was a different story. If you went through there and the buzzer went off, you had 3 people swarming up to you. But yeah. Oh man, my throat. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Takano, thanks for sharing that. Do appreciate it. Copy keys from more. Okay. I should start server racks for a hobbyist or something. Yeah, totally. Techno Tim, everyone should just go to DEF CON at least once. Haha, it's an experience. Also a good place to get hired, not to mention learn a ton. Yeah, it sounds awesome. What's the other security conference for software? Is it Black Hat? Where they basically like hack someone's credit card or hack someone's information like live or while you're there or something. I don't know. I think it's Black Hat is the other security conference. I've never been to DEF CON or Black Hat. I think it's the software piece or software side of it. But yeah, for sure. I would love to. I'm not a huge security guru. I'd like to say I know enough to make things, to I don't know, ward off the 90%, but not the last 10, which are probably the worst. But yeah. The HID cards are junk. Yeah, I totally agree. Sounds like a real life Metal Gear game with this key access. It does, for sure, doesn't it? I should be getting refunded in 3 days-ish for the Switch I got, making it completely free, still to keep it as well. Wow, crazy. Cries in My Fair Classic. Company is just giving them away if you email them. Oh, is this the MikroTik one you were talking about? Black Hat, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I've known people who've gone to. I've had opportunities to go there, but I always chose more of the developer build conferences or more of the, I don't know, infrastructure ones or developer ones. I should have gone, but a lot of people on our security and network teams at the company I used to go to, work for used to go to. Black Hat is also super cool, but it's so much money, yeah. So have your company send you to DEF CON, it's more affordable. Nice. Yeah. Oh, the Tiny 8 PoE switch from Omox? Almox? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Omo? Almox. I just bought me one of the Grid K2 cards for $100 and I'm waiting for it in the mail. Nice. Yeah, I don't know much about the grid cards. We'll see. What are you gonna do with it? Necro PVN? Necropin? I thought it was like Necro VPN. Yeah. I should probably lay up the iced coffee. It's getting pretty late here. I'll be up all night. Yeah, nice. I don't know anything about the K2 cards though, but curious. Physical security is super interesting. In all honesty, he shows how to do it under door attacks and such. That's crazy. He's going to pass it through to via Proxmox. Sorry, did I miss that? I assume that's what was going to happen. Necro PVN, but it's fine. Gonna add a GPU to each VM. Nice. Yeah, I haven't done any grid or CUDA or anything like that, any cards. I should at some point. But I just have 2 consumer grade cards in mine. And they do a decent job. And I only need the encoder off of them. I don't even need like the 3D part of it for the most part. So yeah, you have to let me know how that goes. I've heard, it's a mixed bag getting stuff working, as I found out myself. It's a mixed bag getting, GPUs passed through. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Oh, you're guessing. All right. I figured, I was like, oh man, did I miss something? Hopefully not. Or how you can use compressed air to unlock doors. That's interesting. Shoot enough air in a door? Better go tape my deadbolts right now. This is like emotion disturbance kind of things. Sure beans. Yeah, Necro PVN. Yeah, let me know for sure. I'd love to know how that works and how it works out for you. And plus, like, what, you got them for $100? I mean, if that works, I'd love to know, because that's sounds like a cheap solution to be able to share some of those GPU cores with some of your virtual machines. Yeah, be really awesome. How many cores can you share? Like how many cores does that grid card have that you can like allocate to virtual machines? That'd be my next question. Anyone familiar with 10 gig networking, even though it's in SFP plus, but I thought, yeah, I'm Lymanson. I'm kind of right there with you, and I've been holding out. I think I'm going to hold out for 10 gig copper. That's just me though, because you know, I have plenty of Ethernet things here. I have well, I shouldn't say zero, but I have very little SFP plus things here. And so I know there are people who do it, and I think Techno's done it too. But for me, I'm holding out. I'm holding out for, you know, some old enterprise switch that has 10 gig copper ports, so that it'll, for me, just retrofit and then upgrade each machine as I need cards, and then cables if I need to too. But that's me. But there's plenty of other people who have done SFP plus. Nothing against it. One beta alien. LOL. I'm Lymanson. SFP plus system is just cheaper. Yep. Cat. Yep. Still expensive. I totally agree. It's out there. Sometimes switches, I think, that have 10 gig RJ45 points, but I think the unified ones have 10 gigs. Yeah. And I've seen what the Astro ones or whatever the ones that, you know, Wendell talks about them sometimes. And I think Snazzy talks about it sometimes. Quinn from Snazzy Labs, they talk about their switches. Aristo Networks, like they'll have whatever 24 point, you know, 10 gig copper ones they found on eBay for $300. Well, I've been watching those forever, and I've never seen them drop to $300. Because if it dropped to $300 and it's a 24, you know, port, 10 gig RG45s, I'm totally buying it. But anyways, yeah. And those are being deprecated by, you know, by data centers because they're not using a standard that everyone else is moving to. But, you know, like I say, it's good enough for home. Good enough for home lab. But yeah, DAC is faster than SFP. And up to 8 uses depending on branched off. That's good to know, NecroVPN. You'll have to let me know how this goes. Like, it's super interesting to me. I've been sticking to consumer cards, you know, and I know Kraft has done, Jeff has done tons of stuff on, you know, with his servers and his cloud gaming computer. And, you know, I actually thought I was going to game with him in his last video. He's like, yeah, you know, I built this cloud gaming server. Anyone want a game? And he put me on his list, but I think it, you know, didn't perform the way he wanted it to. I told him, hey, still holler at me, get at me, and we'll still play in your gaming, cloud gaming server. But still waiting on him to DM me. So, but I trust him. Hopefully he does, and hopefully he does it. Because I would love to like stream that live too. Like, yeah, if Jeff's like gonna record or actually play some games on his cloud gaming server, even just some low-end game, I'll totally stream it if he lets me. I'll ask for his permissions though. Anyways, that's so cool. Direct attack copper, yeah. NecroVPN Air 8 to 16, depending on K1 and K2. Unify as 10 gig switches, yeah, they do. Arista, DZ, yep, exactly. Yeah, Arista networks are the ones that I'm keeping an eye on, and don't you guys go watch the ones I'm watching too, because then I'll never get one. No, but anyways, the Arista network ones, I forget there's a very specific model. I'll actually tell you the exact model that I'm watching right now, because I have it in Google Keep. I have a link to it that then I go and find on eBay. Arista, there's a very exact model. It's the 7050T. And so the Arista 7050T is a gigabit RJ45, 10 gig RJ45 switch. Hey, Florida man Fred, Florida man Fred. Hey, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. But that Arista Networks switch is the one that Wendell's talked about. It's the one that, you know, Quinn from Snazzy Labs has talked about. I think that's the one they have in their rack. And so that's the one I'm kind of holding out on. And 10 gig Ethernet cards, expensive? Yeah, they kind of are. But for me, it's like, okay, well, you know, it's backwards compatible. You know what? I put it in now and there's no specialized hardware, no adapters, no nothing I need to do. I put in that switch and I get gigabit, exactly what I have now. And then I'll upgrade only the devices that I need to. And the nice part about it is too, my backbone gets upgraded too, because I can saturate a gigabit link on just this PC. You know, whenever I render my videos and I push the videos, you know, when I push, you know, 50 gig videos that I just recorded, you know, to my network, like the rest of my network gets totally saturated too, to where, you know, that my switch is saturated. And, you know, and if I had something, you know, that was 10 gig, it would have you know, a wider pipe on the backbone than 2, where it could probably push, I don't know, 40, 60. I'm just making this up. But obviously, if it supports 10 on each port, it's gonna totally be able to handle multiple, you know, 1 gigabit connections. Necro PVN, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Anyways, those are my thoughts that go through my head, you know, as I debate, you know, what I'm gonna do in the future. What am I gonna do when I grow up with my network? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But there are a lot of good choices out there, no bad ones, I think. So that's my reasoning for holding out, because, you know, it costs me nothing except for the switch to get it in place and still have everything that I currently have still work. So, but yeah. Lyman said about $100 US dollars opposed to 15 for SFP plus. Yeah. I understand that those connections are, yeah, cheaper than the cards themselves. Yeah, I totally get that. But I have a feeling that, like, as 10 gig catches on, you know, it's going to trickle down. It's totally going to trickle down, and it'll just get cheaper over time. And so, yeah, that's I mean, I think it's going to start getting cheaper sooner. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, 2021 or whatever, you know, there'll be more consumers using 10 gig for whatever reason. And maybe it's prosumers. That's totally who they're going to go after. And they're probably going to go after media, you know, video editors and stuff like that. And so that'll be super helpful too. That'll be good. That'll be good for everyone. That's my take on it. But until then, if I find one of those Arista Network switches, I'm totally going to buy one. If it gets in the $300 range, I will. And then I'll actually put it in my real rack instead of just screwed into my fake rack on the wall. Anyways, that's a long conversation. Just would be nice if everything converged to one cable, USB for everything, including networking. Yeah, for me, that one cable is RJ45, but, you know, copper is not the greatest. And then there are all types of copper, you know, just like there were all types of USB. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it would be nice if I had one cable for everything, like USB-C. I totally agree. Audio, video, USB connections, power, like, give me everything through one cord. I totally agree. Beast with a gun. Oh, how's it going? 2 interfaces, one bad. Oh, I think you're talking about the network cards. Beast with a gun. Hey, from Australia. Your Rancher video was very helpful. Hey, thanks. Thanks for joining in the stream. Thanks for being here, and thanks for letting me know it's helpful. More to come. More to come. I'm gonna go pretty far down the rabbit hole. Actually, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm coming out of the rabbit hole and trying to do a couple of other things that should be out here soon. So cool. InfiniBand over USB, please. I don't know anything about InfiniBand. Hopefully that's a real thing. If not, you should go into marketing, because that sounds like a great name. Home Lab New. It's simply a premium at the moment. It'll be super cheap soon. Toastface Grilla, I agree. I mean, it's just like any new tech, you know, it just, you know, yeah, enterprises usually get it first. Well, it depends on what it is, but, you know, the enthusiast, you know, / enterprise, at least for servers, kind of get this stuff first, and it'll trickle down for sure. Just like USB-C, or just like solid state drives, just like everything in tech. Eventually it will, and then it'll be so cheap. But yeah, but some people can't wait, and I can wait. I wish I didn't have to, but, you know, I don't need 100% 10 gig right now. When I do, I'll be able to edit my videos directly off my FreeNAS server, and that will be awesome, rather than like generating proxies in 720p, so then I can edit my videos. And, you know, if I have, you know, a couple hour-long recordings, because I shoot multiple cameras, desktop, all that, like, I have to convert that all to proxies. Yeah, it's a waste of power too. Like my machine's just 20 minutes straight rendering video that's temporary. It's kind of wasteful. A lot of electricity. Wouldn't you have to rerun cables to get 10 gig? Sid Cassie, yep, totally. I would have to. Yeah, it just depends. Like, you know, some, you know, Cat5e can do 10 gig over short distance. You know, even Cat6e can do it over a little bit longer distance. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. You're totally right, 100%. Like me, from my own personal, I would have to from this machine down to there. But in my server, like in my little data center, yeah, I'd have to buy cables. To get one here, I would actually have to run a new cable. You're exactly right. Hi, Tim. Interested in, well, what you think the future of ARM in the server sector and how far we are from major evolution. I don't know. I mean, Apple's taking it pretty far, at least for, you know, their own system on a chip. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. It would be awesome to have like just a ton of little ARM processors that, you know, were super performant and low wattage that could, you know, do enterprise workloads. That's interesting to think about. I don't know how far we are. I haven't had my finger on the pulse as far as ARM. A lot of the stuff I do, you know, and develop, well, do some iOS and some Android, but most of the stuff is, you know, whatever, x86. And so like for me, my stuff only ends up on mobile if I developed a website or they're running a service that connects from a website, or they're running my Android or iOS app. But I've never had to think about the processor itself. But it's good to think about. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I should look into it some more. Like, what's your take on it? I guess you seem pretty tapped in. Cat 6, Cat 7, 10 gig, Cat 5. I'm Lymanson. I think you can do. I think you can do 10 gig Cat 5e short run. I think there's a Wikipedia article on it because I've looked at it before. I mean, we're talking, you know, I don't know how many meters, 3, whatever, 10, 3, something really short, 10 feet, something like that. Do some fact checking on me because I remember reading it and I'm like, okay, you know, I can reuse some cables at least in my rack because I'm not going any more than 4 feet. Yeah, I'll have to look at it again. But I thought Cat 5e, they were saying that it could work on short runs. Soon looking at just using fiber for the 10 gig and the servers ends up being cheaper in case I ever move to the rack. Along with that, I won't have to worry about length limitations. Fiber can go up to 6 kilometers with some $30 adapters off Amazon from 10G Tech. Yeah, 10G Tech, good stuff. They're the ones that made my cables for my disk array, and they were like $40. But yeah, and they make super cheap network adapters too. Pretty awesome. They do a lot of cabling and a lot of networking stuff. Typical trickle feed consumer BS. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Back from taking the dogs for a long walk. Skal, hey, welcome back. I think Cat 5e will actually run 10 gigabit depending on the cable quality and length. Yep, one bad alien. That's what I read too. And I'm just going from a Wikipedia article because I'm like, would I have to rip out everything or could I still use some things? And at least, I mean, most of my stuff is Cat 6 anyways, but I do have some Cat 5e in the house. And if I got it, I would still test it. I would just say, well, does it work? I'm gonna try it. And I always wondered, like, is it degraded or is it true? Like, I'm not gonna negotiate. I'm either gonna negotiate at 1 gig or 10 gig. Like, you know, there's no in between. It's not like I'm gonna get 10 gig, slow 10 gig. I think it's just gonna negotiate at 1 or 10, one or the other. I think. Everything in baby steps. Keep you upgrading. Yeah, totally agree. If only I was that clever. Home Lab new. Oh. InfiniBand? Oh yeah, that would be, hey, I wouldn't put it past you. I thought you did. You could have said like, hey, I just started a company called InfiniBand. But it's a good name. I think you're right, one bad alien, but might be as well to pay the extra $1 to be sure you have the right cable. Yeah. Using Ethernet costs a bit more for the adapters, that's for sure though, and the heat is also a strong limitation if you're using passively cooled switches. That's a good call out too on the switches generating a lot of heat, because I think like even the the Arista ones I was talking about, like they're supposed to be in a data center where they're going to be cooled. So either they have lots of really loud fans, or they're passively cooled and expect air to be passed over them. Yeah, I don't know. I should look into them some more before I'm just like buying them off eBay, but I think I'm going to. I'm Lymanson, getting some Threadrippers in a server would be nice. Totally agree. Would be awesome. Even advise against getting more than 2 of them in a switch to Kyle. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Techno Tim, any plans on HA proxy video? Oh, hi, I'm Pyrex. I'm Pyrex. I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. But what are you looking for at a HA proxy? That's my question. Yeah, what would you like to see out of an HA proxy video? Why is stream only available at 1080 and 10 Mazer? That's all Twitch allows me to do. If you're talking about Twitch, it's only that's as high as it goes for Twitch. If you're talking about YouTube, just because I haven't moved to 4K yet, I don't see the benefits yet, for me, at least at the stage I'm at, to do 4K. I've done 1 or 2, but it's not the best 4K. And it's like, I kind of feel like, a lot of the stuff that I do, is talking and tutorials. Yeah, it would definitely be a lot easier to see desktop shots, but like my face is usually in a small box, and it's like, okay, I'm going to capture that to 4K and then render it down to this small box. But anyways, if you're talking about YouTube, it's just the stage that I'm at. Like I just started the channel basically, 7 months ago, 8 months ago. I have a couple milestones where I'm going to start upgrading hardware. Like I told myself, like, you see me with that lav mic on all the time. That's because there's a ton of echoes in here, and, I have a fan and whatever. It's just not soundproof room. But I told myself, I'm not going to buy like a boom arm mic until, I reach a certain number. I'm not going to say the number, and so I have a couple milestones where it's like, if I reach that milestone, I'll upgrade, this piece of hardware, because then I'll know that, like, I've even when I started streaming on Twitch, I went crazy, upgraded arms, whatever, lights, Stream Deck, Go XLR, all at once. And, fortunately I work and I've saved money. And so I was able to do that. But I told myself when I start my YouTube channel for real, I'm going to try to make the best content I can with what I have. And so, yeah, it's kind of my motto for everything, for home lab, for videos, for everything. I didn't have much growing up when I was a kid. So I've always tried to do the best with what I have. And so going back to that, yeah, that's why I don't know. How did I get on this topic? You might not even be asking about YouTube right now, and you're probably talking about Twitch, and I'm rambling about YouTube 1080 videos. Anyways, if it's YouTube videos, I'm going to make some upgrades when I hit certain levels, for sure. Hopefully the quality of the videos increases, because that's another thing too. Like I don't want to increase the quality of the video until the quality of the content matches that. So I don't, yeah, so that's just my thing. Like I made a lot of stuff, but I learn so much every time. And so hopefully when I get to the point where I have better gear, my video content will be higher quality too. I know you can. That was from One Bad Alien. Sorry, I was rambling there for a bit. You can, but super short distances. Yeah, that's what I was saying. 10 gig, here we go. Scala, yep, 10 gig, Cat 5e, sub 20 feet. Yep, perfect. And that's what I was saying, like, cables that I have, and even in my rack, those are mostly Cat 6. But I do have some Cat 5e just because. And I do have it in the walls here because that's what I ran because it was cheaper. That obviously won't work, but I knew it would run on, at least according to Wikipedia, it would for short runs. Usually get a lot of crosstalk in the line though, not ideal. Yeah, I bet. Because like, at least what I've heard, newer cables have extra shielding. And Cat 5e has like 0 shielding. It's like some weird twisted piece of cotton that's like you could barely floss with. It's like, it's so thin. Kuroi Kage. What's your day job? I think you had something about being a programmer. Yep, but not too sure what you did. Yeah, yeah, software engineer, programmer, developer, coder, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I work for a small startup. I've worked for pretty large companies, worked for a large food company, and then a very large retailer. And now I'm at a small startup with friends, and we build awesome stuff. For sure. And yeah, so it's just a small company. We're in kind of digital grocery, and it's super fun right now. And so we do everything. Yeah, I'm personally, and the team does everything, back end, front end, DevOps. I mean, we got to do everything because we have a small team. And so that's why, I've been a team of one on my home lab for a long time. So kind of, it's obviously a much more professional setting than me tinkering in the basement. But I learned a ton of stuff that can be applied at home, and at home I learned a ton of stuff that can be applied at work. So it's super fun. HA proxy and pfSense tied into Cloudflare with Let's Encrypt. Works great. Nice. One bad alien. Nice. And I think that's the comment about HA proxy. Awesome. So I've had very limited experience with HA proxy, and it was just like doing some rewrite rules and stuff like that. But yeah, I have some things in the works that are really close to that. So yeah, it's exciting to see that come up in the stream tonight. Toastbase Grilla as an idea for someone thinking about a switch, including switch cables, cards. I have network 10 gigabit Ethernet DAC for PCs. For $350. Oh, that sounds pretty cheap. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal. Yeah, for sure. Like 4 PCs. Yeah, that sounds like awesome for someone who needs 10 gig. That seems like a heck of a deal. SFP plus, gotcha. People are claiming around 40 to 50 meters over 10 gig. Oh, that would be awesome for me because like I said, my house is all Cat 5e. And even if I got 5 gigabit out of 10, I'd call that a win. I mean, there'd probably be, I think Skal mentioned earlier, a lot of crosstalk, which to me, I think would be, drop packets, which would kind of suck. But yeah, I'd be, like I said, like if I can get one of those switches, I'm going to put it in there and I'll just try it out. Worst case scenario, I still have gigabit, but then all of my infrastructure in my rack gets 10, and that's okay. Because like I said, I can saturate 1 gig with one client, and that's the whole entire backbone of my whole entire network. So at least my backbone gets upgraded to be able to handle more than 1 gigabit just by doing that. And that's my reasoning. That's what I'm thinking as to why I'm waiting. That's shocking. Takano, yeah, usually for initial link established negotiation, but in it's staying, yep. Yeah. Nice. Good to know. I wonder if mine will even negotiate at 10 gig. I'm totally, if I get one, I'm totally going to try it. I'll totally document it too. Because these are the things like we all ponder about and we all wonder about, like, exactly what we're talking about here. And I would love to be able to, if I can get one of those off of eBay and put it through the ringer. That'd be sweet. No, I want low resolutions like 3. Oh, Dan Mazer. See, I went off on a tangent anyways about about something you weren't even talking about. And then I went all the way into how like not having much growing up and all these things about how thrifty I've been. And you weren't even talking about that. Classic Tim right there. So the answer to that is Twitch only allows certain people to have transcoding. So not everyone gets transcoding on their stream. And if you're a partner, you're guaranteed to get it. If you're an affiliate, like I am, you're not guaranteed. You might get it. But with the way things have been for the last 4 months, however long we've been at home, I haven't seen one affiliate get it because I think they're just overloaded right now. And maybe there are some. But I think what it boils down to is, how many viewers do you have? Partners are going to have more viewers. And so they're going to give their viewers more viewing options. So I've gone back and forth about, like, do I set it to 720p? And then, lower the quality of the stream, or do I do 1080p, 60 frames per second, higher the quality of the stream, but maybe not get some of the mobile viewers? And I've gone back and forth, and I'm just like, I just ended up going back to 1080p. So I apologize. We need to tell Twitch, hurry up and give Tim some transcoding options. So apologize on Twitch. Yeah. What can I use for these channel points for? HomeLab New, good question. Right now you can highlight your video. You can highlight your message. You can unlock a random sub emote, which I have 3. There's options to do other things that I haven't totally assigned yet. So there are things I need to work on for my Twitch stream. I need to get some more emotes. But yeah, so channel points, if you're not familiar with them, if you knew Mixer, it was kind of like Twitch's answer to their whole hype sticker. I forget what they called them. It's so funny. It's like, I already forgot what they called them on Mixer. But anyways, it's a point system that you can spend on virtual things in the channel. You earn them by watching, and then you can get rewards. So you can highlight your message like that one. So, Necro PVN, I forgot to mention that the Grid K2 might or might not have licensing. Oh yeah, but I heard that it might not be needed to let you know. Yeah, please let me know, because I think that's what Kraft ran into, and he had to spin up some whole entire licensing server and then bought like some pirated, license. What seemed, well, at least his outfit suggested it was pirated. But anyways, bought some expensive license off eBay for $5 and then ran a licensing server in his lab or in his infrastructure to satisfy the need to run his, grid cards. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know. PNB 322, love the YouTube channel. Thank you. Excellent Proxmox tutorials. Thank you. Those are some of my early ones. I look at them now and I'm like, oh my gosh, whoa, that, it doesn't even seem like a normal me. This is more the normal me than in some of my older videos, but I appreciate it. Hopefully they're helpful. But yeah, seems like a bad time to ask, but I've been getting stop, start, failed, QEMU, exit code 1 error. Anyone else after passing a GP through? Yeah. Yep, I think HomeLab's on it. Yep, exactly. Yep. So the thing that, so there are 3 things. This comes up a lot in Discord. And so PNB 322, if you're not in Discord, I'd love for you to join, because we talk about this a lot, and we have a Proxmox channel 100% dedicated to just Proxmox questions, as we have a rancher, Docker, networking, even one for pets. I think there's about 3 pet pictures in there, and one of them is mine. But anyways, that aside, what I found in helping people, and a lot of other people here on the channel found too, it's always 3 things, and HomeLab mentioned them. CPU has to support it, motherboard has to support it, has to be turned on in there too, on your motherboard. So it'd be interesting to know what your CPU is, because a lot of the times people are like, yep, my CPU supports virtualization, but that's just the VTX side, at least on Intel. So you actually need the VTD side too, which is the IOMMU. And so yeah, I hope you have it, because that's a totally expensive. Hey, Corfy, hey, thanks so much. Oh wow, gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Wow, that's awesome. Was that Corfy? I think it was Corfy. Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, Link. Wow, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I hope you're well. I think I saw your message like underneath my eye there as I was kind of scanning down on what to talk about next. But yeah, PMBB, you wanna make sure that your CPU supports it. So love to see your CPU model, because then we can really tell, like, okay, does this really support it? Wow, yeah, it's so awesome. Corfy, thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Thank you for the subs. Wow, man, I really appreciate it. So I think he tossed out a couple of subs there. So yeah, I just gifted, who got him? Boatplot. Hey, Boatplot, you're in here, man. How you doing? Gear Bear, the blind hobo. Christian CC, that's a new name from last time. And 44 Big Pun, I think those. Enjoy your gifted sub from Gorfy. Yeah, Boatplot's in here, I think. I think he is. Wonder, I saw his, well, if he's in here, yeah. Anyways, it's someone I know in real IRL. So anyways, I haven't talked to him in a while, which is cool. Anyways, Where was I? Wow, that's so awesome. Digital groceries, I imagine you guys are having a ton of business right now with COVID. Yeah, it's things are busy. I'll put it that way. Yeah, totally. It's awesome. um, Running this on R720 and made sure that it was enabled in the BIOS. Okay, IOM, oh yeah, if it's R720, yeah, gonna have it. IOMU groupings seem to be working well, but I can't start the VM now that, oh, so one other thing, PNB 322. Does it start and then blue screen? Or does it, oh, never mind, because you showed the Proxmox error. The other thing is, so in my tutorial, I think I have a link to documentation. And check your KVM conf, your machine ID conf, whatever, 100, 101, whatever your virtual machine ID is. Check the config file and make sure the machine type is set properly too. And I have an example one in my documentation. Like I said, if you need that, that's in Discord too. If not, it's in my GitHub repo. If you can find, it's github.com/techno-tim. You'll see all my video documentation, and there's one specifically for that one. And just check to make sure that your virtual machine config looks like the one I posted there. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. The R720. It's you don't have to do half of those things, at least with AMD. At least I thought. At least the ones Intel's are the hard ones to pass through. But does the machine boot if you don't pass it through, But anyways, you probably commented back, but I'm a little bit behind in here. The moment your network finally reports 10 gigabit, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I would totally, yeah. That's what I'll be like when I plug it into Cat 5e. If I see 10 gig, I'm totally gonna give that face. And then after that, my next thing is, okay, throughput test. Let's see. Okay, I wonder how long until companies give software engineers money to invest in their home lab. Could be similar to educational budget. Lots of what I learned translates to the office. I'm Lymanson. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, 100% agree. Like if you're even remotely interested in tech at all, or want to be interested in, like, home labs are a great way to break things and build things and learn things on your own. I 100% agree. Like, you can't walk into work and like, hey, what happens if I accidentally format this drive, or, what happens if I unplug this network cable, or what happens if I, spin up my own DNS server and, create a bunch of host names everywhere, or start my own VLAN and start tagging packets with VLAN. That, it's not something that anyone at work is ever going to let you do in a production environment, and probably not even in a QA environment or some lower environment. So I 100% agree. And I think, I've been passionate about this stuff for like a long time, and I've been, doing this stuff for a long time. And I'm still as passionate about it as I was then. And I contribute a lot of my success to being able to do stuff at home at my own time and learning on my own, because that's how I learn most. And then now that I can, there's a subreddit on it and YouTube channels about it and Twitch channels about it. I love it, because now I can like talk about the things that I'm learning. Whereas before it was just like, build this domain controller and set up Active Directory and DNS and Exchange and a mail server, and really didn't have anyone to tell about it. And not that I'm doing that now, but you understand what I mean. So it's really awesome that there's also a community too around this. I love it. Can't figure it out, man. PNB 322, yeah, for sure. I wish I had an answer too. I haven't done an AMD card. I should probably get a cheap AMD card too to test that as well, or at least to figure it out. But I've always heard that the NVIDIA ones are the tough ones, and I thought, well, I figured that out, and AMD must be a piece of cake, but it sounds like it might not be. Could it be that the card isn't reinitializing properly? Good to know. To kind of looking for an inventory management software that's controlled via browser, as I have a lot of tiny parts and I want to be able to search part numbers for it. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. My current my current inventory management is either a Google Keep or yeah, or an Excel spreadsheet. But yeah, I totally agree. It would be nice to have something, but or Google, because most of the time, you know, most part numbers are something that, you know, someone sells. But yeah, I agree. Maybe the Proxmox host is initialized at boot time. You guys, oh man, you guys are in deep in here. Yeah, thank you, Home Lab Anu. No custom mining vBIOS, an amount I have. Yeah, so I'm just getting caught up. One bad alien, Intel Arc. Look it up and see. Okay. PNB 322, great. Thanks for the response. I'll move my questions to the Discord. Oh, no, you can keep doing them here for sure. I was just thinking, like, you know, there's some people that don't, you know, aren't able to attend the stream, are really, really sharp when it comes to Proxmox, you know, and then vice versa. Some people, you know, who might be on the stream now that might not be in Discord later. So here is fine too, for sure. Bode plot, nice username. Did lots of bode plots in my graduate controls class. Yeah, I do. Maybe he's just hanging out in here. But I need to. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, I used to sit next to him when I worked at one of the bigger companies. But yeah, he's a pretty awesome guy, for sure. Wow. I think I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah, it's. I didn't think I was gonna be able to stream this long, and time just flew by, and great stream. Just want to say, yeah, thank you to everyone who followed. Thank you for the subs. There was a couple of subs in there. One Bad Alien, X Toast Face Grilla. Thank you for the sub. Gorfy, man, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. I really appreciate it. Man, you guys are awesome. I got some awesome stuff coming for you. I'm gonna work on it the rest of the night tonight. I'm gonna work on it all probably night tomorrow after work, so that I can get you something on Saturday, and hopefully it's something you guys are hoping for. If you have any questions, more questions for me, either hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Discord. I try to be as active as I can in there. Discord, it's a little bit harder, just because, you know, I work all day and I try to stay focused. You guys know how it is, staying focused. It's kind of hard, but for me, that means tuning out a lot of stuff during the day, but at night I'm pretty active on social media, and also try to be active on Discord too. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up there. I really appreciate, man, everything. Like tonight, great stream. And like I said, right before I started, I was like, you know, I don't know if I can do this. I got a headache. I got so much stuff to do. But I told myself, like, I'll be so glad I did once I do. And you guys did not let me down. Not that you would, but I'm just saying, like, my own thought going in was like, oh my gosh, my head hurts so bad, and like head does not hurt one bit. So I really appreciate it. So anyways, I'm rambling. Cool story, bro. I will see you guys Saturday on stream, and Saturday morning on YouTube. See ya. Take care. Have a good night.